The youngest is one. La Yasha'Allah, which means to Israel. Imagine in the room. Start putting your hakadam, which means stand, turn, face the east. Say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanaw, Bashamayim, Kodash Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakata, Taba'ah, Ratzaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathlunina, Lachum, Kalyum, Wasalachana, Chowachnu, Kasalachnu, Chowachina, Wala'ah, Dabayana, Wanasai one, a ball, Hawashinu, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwath, Waha'ala, Wathaparath, Lawulumyum, Amun. The English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Psalm 121 in the Hebrew. Asha ayunya, al-harya, ma'ayunya, yabah, Isaiah, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Waratza, Al Yathan, Lamawat, Regalka, Ayanawum, Shemarka, Hana, La'ayanawum, Wala'aya Shun, Shalmar Yasha'al, Yahweh Shemarka, Yahweh Tzalka, Al Yad, Yum Yunka, Yawmum, Hashmash, La'ayaka, Wairach, Balayla, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Ra, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Hazatka, Wawaka, Ma'aita, Wa'ada Walum. The English, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalm 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, al-damayalaka, al-bacharash, wa al-tashakwat, Allah, Kayahana, Awiyabika, Yahamuwan, Umshanayaka, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, Al-Aimaka, Ya'iriyumu, Sawa, Waitayazwa, Al-Zabawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakakinu, Magoya, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yasha'ala, Aiwa, Kaya, Yawaitzawa, Labyakadwa, Alika, Baryath, Yakurakwa, Ahalia, Arwam, Washamalia, Moab, Wahagaria, Gabal, Waimuan, Waimulak, Plashat, Ainyashabia, Tazawar, Gamashawar, Nalawa, Aiman, Hayawa, Zorawai, Labanyalawat, Salah, Aishalam, Kamadian, Kasayasara, Kayabian, Bonakal, Fayashwan, Nashamadwa, Bayanda Ara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shadamwa, Nadiyamua, Ka'ira, because of Abba, because of Ba, because of Zalmanah, Calling Sadkamu, Ashar, Amaru, Narashah, Lanawa, Ath, Nawath, Alahayim, Alahaya, Shadumwa, Kagogla, Kakwash, Lapunyaraka, Kaash, Tabari Ira, Wakalahaba, Dalahat, Haryu, Kantar Datma, Basairaka, Basopafka, Dabalalum, Mala'ah, Punyam, Palwan, Webakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Webahawa, Ai, Wehaparwa, Weabadwa, Weadiwa, Kaya, Asa, Shumka, Yahawa, Abadka, Aliwan, Al-Kahar Rataza. The English, keep not thou silence, O my power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O my power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarites, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red, and like Zeed. Yea, all their princes as Zabah and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the Most High in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. Pray for the power structure. Ragatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shah, Wa Mayaka Allah, Wa Alahai, Matazabi Alawak Yahan, Halawak, Hasranya, Hakoziyanya, Hachayali, Wa Wakim, Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shah, the Wada Amun. The English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shah, and Michael, and the angels, commanded General Yahan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and assistants. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah, thank you, so be it. Prayer for the prophesied curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites, and the nations, and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Posse Comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street. Open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channel, and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushua, Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushua, thank you always, so be it. So our face of prayer. And the shout, which means be seated. Right back here, picking it up where we left off in the Sabbath service. Each week in the Sabbath service, we say the prayers in the Hebrew and in the English, and we go through 49 verses in the Hebrew and in the English sequentially in order. Pick it up where we left off last week at Deuteronomy 6. And 14. Let's pick it up in the Hebrew. Deuteronomy 6 and 14. La'ath Lakwan, Acharya Alahayim, Acharyim, Mahalahaya, Ha'ayim, Ashar, Sabyawathikum, Kaya Alayakwana, Yahweh, Alahayaka, Bakurabka, Pun, Yacharya, Ab Yahweh, Alahayaka, Baka, Wahashamyaka, Wahashamyad, Wahashamadyaka, Ma'al Punya, Hadma, Va'ath Naswa, Ath Yahweh, Alahayakum, Kashar, Nasiathum, Bamasa, 17, Shamawar, Shamarwan, Ath, Matazawath, Yahweh, Alahayakum, Waidathua, Wakakua, Bashar, Hazawat, 18, Waishiath, Hayashar, Watawab, Bayunya, Yahweh, Lama'ain, Yayatab, Lot, Wabaath, Wayrshath, Atharatazah, Debath, the Shar, Nashabai, Yahweh, La Bathika, it's 19, La Hadat, Paul, Ayabika, Punika, Kashar, Debar, Yahweh, Kaya, Yashalalka, Bunka, Makar, Lamar, Mahaidath, Wakwakyum, Wa Mashpatyum, Mashar, Zawa, Yahweh, Alahayanawa, Athkum. And back to the English. From verse 14. Ye shall not go after other gods, of the gods of the people which are round about you. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. So we're catching up. There's a lot of reminders of the Most High having brought the people out of the land, because now they're almost in the land. And the Lord is reminding you, I brought you out of Egypt. I brought you all this way, and I'm giving you a land of your own. And you're going to remember, and shalom to everybody in the comments, you're going to remember that I brought you here, and I gave this to you, and I put you here. You're not going to get in there and all of a sudden be surrounded by these other groups of people and start taking on their culture, start taking on their gods, start taking on their ways, start marrying their women, and then you marry the woman, and then the next thing you come in to a group of men, you like, well, I don't think maybe we should do it like this. Maybe this idea isn't so bad. Because your woman is driving you from behind. And this is why the Lord said, and we're going to get into it more as we go through these verses today, not to deal with the women from the other nations, because that's the effect. Come back. That's probably the top way how a person from one culture starts taking on the ways of another culture. You ever see one of these? Somebody will marry a Nigerian, and you see the wedding, and it'll be like a white boy with a whole Nigerian wedding with the garment on, and they trying to dance with them, or the same thing like with an Indian wedding, and they'll have all the Indian gear on, and it'll look ridiculous. But that's one way or the other. Somebody's taking on somebody else's culture, and I guarantee you, they're not raising their kids in a household with one strict pure philosophy. Like these are not going to be the super Southern Baptist white people, because you can't pass on whatever you think your culture is. You can't pass it on if you dilute it, and you're diluting it if your partner has a whole different set of ways. Verse 15, for the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. You shall not tempt the Lord your God as he tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies and his statutes which he hath commanded thee. And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest go in and possess the good land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to cast out all thine enemies from before thee, as the Lord has spoken. And when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, what mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which the Lord our God hath commanded you? So now we're going to go back to the Hebrew and come back to that. But this is all of this is so important, because this is what we pass on to the children, to the next generation. And you can't do that if you half-ass it. You can't do that if you dilute it. You can't do that if you put something in front of the children that's going to make the child think, well, you're not even really that serious about what you're talking about. So they don't see everything. They're watching everything that you do more than they're listening to you. And if you put something in front of them, or if you show them something that's going to contradict what you're telling them, they won't believe any of it. Back to the Hebrew from verse 21. Wamarath, Labunka, Ibajim, Hayanwa, Wapariah, Wamatazarium, Wayawatazia Anwa, Yahweh Mamatazarium, Bayad, Chazakwa, Waythun Yahweh, Awath, Wamapathium, Gedalium, Parium, Bamatazarium, Bapariah, Babakal, Bayathwa, La'ayan Yanwa, Wa'wathnawa, Hawatazat Ya'ab, Mashum, Amain, Tabyah, Athnawa, Lathath, Wanwa Ath Haratza, Ashar, Nashtabai, La'abathinawa, verse 24, Wayatazawayanawa, Yahweh, La'aishwath, Athkal, Hachakyum, Ha'alah, La'irah, Ath Yahweh, Lahayanawa, La'tuwab, La'nawa, Kal, Hayumyum, Lachayathnawa, Kayawam, Hazah, verse 25, Batazka, the Hayan Lanawa, Kaya, Nashamar, Aishawath, Athkal, Hamadazwa, Azath, Lapunya Hawa, Alahayanawa, Kashar, Azwanwa, chapter 7, verse 1, Kaya, Yabyaka, Yahweh, Alahayaka, Alharatza, Ashar, Tha, Bashama, Arshatha, Ashal, William, Rabium, Punyaka, Achathia, Wahagaragasha, Wahamaria, Wakananya, Waparazia, Wahoya, Wahayawasya, Shabbat Goyim, Rabium, Waiswamyum, Amaka, verse 2. Wanathan, Yahweh, Alahayaka, Lapunyaka, Wakayathum, Acharium, Thum, La'ah, Akarath, Lahum, Rayath, Wala'ah, Bethanum, and back to the English, from verse 21. Then thou shalt say unto thy son, we were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. So the verse that we left off at on the last set was, when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, what do these things mean? These laws and these judgments, these stories that you're telling us, this is what you tell him. We were Pharaoh's bondmen in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand, and the Lord showed signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, and upon all his household before our eyes. So the point of all this, again, is reminding this the Lord that brought you through all these things. It's the Lord that brought you here into this land, that brought you out of slavery, that brought you away from your enemy. And that's the number one thing, because if you remember that, then it's a lot easier to keep all these laws. It's a lot easier to teach your children to keep all these laws. Verse 23, and he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in, to give us the land which he sware unto our fathers. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear the Lord our God, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And I remember finishing last week's portion, and about 2-3 times in one chapter did it say something similar to that, where these things are for our good. And it's such a contrast to the weirdness of the Christian church teaching that there was something flawed about these laws that had to be done away with, or had to be like solved by Christ. It's a weird concept, but it's something that's ingrained in us if you grow up in the Christian church. But these laws are for our good. Everything in here, whether it has to do with marriage, taxes, how you deal with your farm animals, everything in here is to build a strong community, a strong culture, a strong society. It's all for our good. In verse 25, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God as he hath commanded us. 7:1, when the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land, whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. It's the same thing we were just saying in the last chapter. The way that your culture, your society starts to be weakened, one of the quickest ways to do that is to start intermarrying with the neighboring people, because now you start to take on their cultures. Now you start to be more sympathetic to their causes, even when it conflicts with our own people's causes.
You want to join my religion?
Pretty much. Because, a brother gonna go up in there and he gonna be in bed with his woman. She gonna be saying, well, I wish you was a Muslim. And then the next day he gonna be around the brothers. He gonna be saying, you know what? You know that Islam's not so bad, and that's the problem. That's because that's your closest relationship. Of course, this is the quickest way to weaken and dilute your culture. And this is all here. This list of nations here. You know, some people get caught up on that. That's because that's who we were going to be surrounded by. But all throughout the scriptures, you see this consistently applied to whoever. We just covered a story in Numbers where was it Phineas that came and thrust a javelin straight through the brother and the Midianite woman. Midianites are not on this list, but Phineas went and saw a brother, and the way it describes it, it says the brother came and brought this Midianite woman in the sight of everybody. So you imagine y'all, we all chilling, and some brother over there just started walking across with a Chinese woman, and he just walking like he cool, and you just see him walking down the way, and everybody looking at him like, yo, what's wrong? Yo, who man's is that? And he just walked straight into his crib with this woman. It says in his tent. That's, he was living in tents. And he just walked straight in his crib with this Chinese woman right in front of everybody. And so Phineas got up, walked straight into his crib after him, took a javelin. Y'all ever see the javelin throwers in the Olympics?
Yeah, that's like
took a javelin. Yeah. And right through both of them. Because that's how zealous he was to keep our culture intact, to keep everything together, because that is the quickest way to go off to other gods, to other ways, to start coming in here with different agendas that's contrary to ours. That's the quickest way. Like, it's not a joke. It's not a light thing. If that happened to Solomon, if that took him away, what makes you think you're immune to?
And 2 points, man. The latter, Solomon was one of the wisest kings that ever existed.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And you saw how that went down. And then, one more thing is like women and wine is always one of the key things that start wars.
Yeah.
Women and wine. And when I mean wine, I mean actual liquor and also like philosophy.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, man. So Jody said she was so it's like Israel, but at the same time, no, bro.
No, that's what it's gonna be. Somebody's gonna come in, maybe that Islam's not so bad. We worship the same God, right? They're gonna start saying stuff like that.
Say Allah. Allah, right? So, man,
they believe in Esau, brother. Like, nah, this is why it's so important to keep your closest relationships, which your marriage is number one, pure. And have a woman, or if you're a woman, have a man that would never be contrary to you serving the Most High. Right. But back to the Hebrew. I'm going back and see if my camera one is back. Deuteronomy 7:3. Well, that's a chassan. Bum, Bathka, La'ath, Thun, Bunwa, Bathwa, La'athqua, Bunyaka, 4, Kaya, Yasiar, Athbunika, Macharya, Waibada, Alaham, Acharyam, Bachara, Ab Yahweh, Bakum, Washimyadka, Lahar, Kaya, Kat Aishwa Laham Azmakathium Tatazwa Matsazbathum the Shabarwa Washiyarhum the Gadaiwan Obasalium Dashaparwum Baash. Yeah. So, yeah. Kaya, I'm Quadawash, Athad, La Yahweh, Alahayaka, Bakar, Bakar, Yahweh, Alahayaka, La Yawath, Lawa, La'an, Sagalah, Makal, Ha'ayim, Ashar, Al Punya, Ha'adamah, verse 7, La'ah, Marabakam, Makal, Ha'ayim, Shak, Yahweh, Bakam, Bachar, Bakam, Kaya, Atham, Amait, Makal, Ha'ayim, verse 8, Kaya, Mahabath, Yahweh, Athkum, Mashamarwa, Hashbaya, Ashar, Nasabai, Labathikum, Hawatziah, Yahweh, Athikum, Bayad, Chazakwa, Wayapadka, Mabayath, Ibadim, Mayad, Paraya, Malak, Matzarium, verse 9, Wayadaith, Kaya, Yahweh, Alahayaka, Alahayim, Ha'al, Hanaman, Shamar, Baryath, Lachasad, Lahabua, Lashamaria, Matazawasua, Lalap, the war, and back to the English.
We'll be at the slide, sir. We'll be at the yeah,
What you mean? Like what verse we at?
come.
We at 7 and Deuteronomy 7 and 3.
That's the walk. Deuteronomy 7 verse 3. Oh, slide.
Take you right.
Bayan ya Allah, ban lawyer, ban yasta Allah.
Young Allah, Lawyer, Yasha Allah.
Yabashim yasta brakata.
Yabashim. Grab it. Shit. Yeah, got it.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughters thou shalt take unto thy sons. Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy you.
Exactly what we was just saying. It didn't say might. It said they will. The Lord is giving you a warning like a good father. It said they will turn you away. God. Because that is the quickest way to dilute yourself. To let your guard down. These are your closest relationships, are your marriages. And your guard is inevitably going to be down at some point when you're with this woman, or if you're a woman when you're with this man. And they're gonna say something. They're gonna say, you know that stuff you're into, that's real hateful. I wish you was into something more, more loving.
Do tell.
How we gonna teach? They're gonna say, it's gonna be something, and you're gonna hear it, and you love this person, and eventually you're gonna be around the brothers like, maybe we could, soften up the message a little bit. Don't y'all think it's a little rough?
Huh? Hey, what? Hold up, man. God.
But that's what happens if it's acceptable, if it's normalized to just intermarry. That's what comes with that. Keep going.
Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Verse 5. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars
and break down their images and cut down their groves, Slakia, and burn their graven images with fire. Verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above all people. That's our job. That's the point of these laws. The Lord chose us and gave us these laws to create that image in us, to make us the greatest people on the planet.
Right.
And that means, number one, not just letting anything into your nation, into your culture.
God.
That's why everything is everything in here is for us to treat each other that way. Because if you treat anybody that way,
You just losing value. Like,
exactly.
What are you doing here?
Exactly. Everybody talk about I love everybody. I love everybody. If you let you go to your wife and say I love every woman out there. I love every woman equally.
Oh man.
She gonna be down with that? Are we still okay with loving everybody? No, man, because you gotta love your own. Period.
Okay.
You gotta channel all that love that you have. I love my people. I don't love everybody. I don't love white people. I don't love Chinese people. I don't love some funky Indian. And you know how that translates into real life. When I see a funky Indian doing something that could harm my community, I don't have to say well, I love everybody, so the funky Indian can have a store in my community. I can't say he can't, because I love everybody, right? We all people. We all bleed red, right? I can't not let the funky Indian have a store in my community.
You see how detrimental that is? Extremely detrimental. Look,
gotta-
it's a difference between having discipline and tolerance with these other nations and loving them and actually trying to embrace them and make them come into your community. You don't have to come into my community. Look, listen, we'll govern our own community.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot.
Nah, for real. You got something we can do business. You
Right.
got something to sell us. Yeah. Like the Queen of Sheba bringing all the oils and whatever she brought.
Right.
We can do business. Bring us what you got. But keep the rest of it outside of our community.
Bonus. Verse 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 7.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come. Verse 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for we were the fewest of all people. Verse 8. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he has sworn unto your fathers, had the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which kept covenant and mercy with him that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.
To 1,000 generations. And that's beautiful. And that's beautiful, especially with that other part that you just read, where the Lord didn't choose us because we was the greatest. The Lord is not a front runner.
Right.
The Lord chose us. We always think like, yeah, we everywhere. Like, yeah, we are everywhere. And yeah, we are as the sand of the sea. But we minorities everywhere. There's a ton of white people on the planet. There's a ton of them Chinese people. There's about 1 billion of them.
Too many birthdays, my man. It's a lot.
We were not chosen because we are the most or the greatest. The Lord sent us into every battle to know that it was him being with us that got us through those battles. Wherever we go on the earth, we can, a tiny group of people, and we dominate in the culture in one way, shape, or form or another, to the point where they're hating us. That's the Lord being with us. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, He is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant, keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations.
That's it. That's beautiful. Back to the Hebrew, verse 10. Shalom, Ashana Yawa, Al Punyua, Lahab Yadka, La'a Yachar, Ashanawa, Al Punyua, Yashalamua, verse 11. Ashmarath, Ath Hamatzwa, Wa'ath Hachakyum, Wa'ath Hamashpatyum, Ashar Akya, Matazwaka, Haywum, Laishwathum, verse 12, Wahaya, Aikwab, Mashmaiwan, Athamashapatyum, Hala, Washamarthum, Waishathum, Athum, Washamar, Yahweh Alahayaka, Laka, Ath, Abaryath, Wa'ath Hachasad, Ashar, Nashabai, Labathika, verse 13.
Asai one. Salaki.
Wahabka, Wabaraka, Waharbika, Wabarak, Parya, Batnika, Parya, Adamaka, Gunka, Watirashka, Tazaharka, Shagar, Alapika, Waishatharath, Zanika, Al-Hadama, Ashar, Nashbai, Labathika, Wathathlika, verse 14, Barwak, Dahaya, Makal, Aimium, La'ah, Yahaya, Baka, Aikwar, Waikara, Wababa Hamathka, verse 15, Wasayar, Yahweh, Mamaka, Kaya, Khalia, Wakal, Madwa, Matazarium, Harayim, Ashar, Yadaith, La'ah, Yashim, Bakal, Wanathunium, Bakal, Shanayika, verse 16, Wakalath, Athkal, Ha'imium, Ashar, Yahweh, Lahayika, the Thun, Laka, La'ah, the Chas, Ayunka, Alyum, Wala'ah, the Ibad, Athalahayim, Kaya, Makwash, O'alaka. Back to the English, verse 10.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 10. And repayeth them that have him to their face to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hate him. He will repay him to his face. Verse 11. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. Verse 12. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments and keep and do them, that the Lord thy God shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he swore unto thy fathers. Verse 13. And he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of them womb, the fruit of thy wombs, and the fruit of thy land, thy corn, thy wine, thy oil, the increase of thy kin, and the flocks of thy sheep in the land. Salaki, which he swore unto thy father to give thee. Verse 14. Thou shalt be blessed above all people.
Above all people. The Lord's goal was never to create equality. The Lord's goal is to create hierarchy. And our job was to be on top. Our job was to keep law, statutes, and commandments and be on top. Read.
Come. There shall not be Salaki. There shall not be male or female bearing among you, or among your cattle. Verse 15. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. Verse 16. And thou shalt consume all the people which the Lord thy God shall deliver thee. Thine eyes shall have no pity among them, neither shalt thou serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto thee.
That's it. Where was you at? 16. 16. Perfect. That's it. That's real plain and simple. Back to the Hebrew. Verse 17. Kayata Amar, Balababka, Rabium, Goyim, Ha'ala, Mamunya, I'll call, Lahayashim, 18, La'at, Tayra, Maham, Zakar, Dazakar, Athashar, Shah, Yahweh, Alahayaka, La Pariah, Balakal, Montezarium, verse 19, Hamasath, Hagalath, Ashar, Ra'awa, Ayunka, Wa'athath, Wahamapathum, Wa'ayad, Hakazakwa, Yahazarai, Hanathwant, Ashar, Hawatazaka, Yahweh Lahayaka, Khan, Ya'aisha, Yahweh Hayaka, Lakal, Haimyum, Ashar, Atha, Yara'ah, Mapunyum, verse 20, Wagum, Ath, Hatazariah, Yashlach, Yahweh Alahayaka, Bam, Id, Abad, Hanasharium, Wanasatharium, Mapunyika, verse 21, La'ath, Iratzah, Mapunyum, Kaya, Yahweh Alahayaka, Bakurabka, Al Gadawal, Wanara, 22, Wanasal, Yahweh Alahayaka, Athagoyim, Ha'al, Mapunyika, Ma'ait, La'at, Okal, Kalathum, Mahar, Pun, Darba, Alyaka, Chayath, Hashadah, verse 23, Wanathanum, Yahweh Alahayaka, Mapunyika, Wahamum, Mahawma, Gala, Id, Hashmadum, and back to the English, verse 17.
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 7.
Shout out to our brother from Alaska checking in comments. Shout out to Just Art Paint. Hey, we listen, UPK is worldwide, and if you out there in some far-flung part of the earth, your job is just to bring the school out there. Don't feel alone wherever you at. You know, we all your family. Whenever you get up out of there, whenever you take a vacation out of there, whatever, you got family all over the place.
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 17. If thou shalt say in thy heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispose them? Good night. Verse 18.
That's your thought. Your thought when we coming into this land and we journeying through the wilderness, you looking around at all these nations that's already established. They got kingdoms, they got cities, and you like, how we gonna get rid of these people? Yeah.
Come. Verse 18. Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt.
That's it, because they had all that too. Right? They was the biggest empire in the world. And we was just a little, and the Lord scattered them, made them beg for us to be gone. That's the power of the Lord. And we had just seen that not too many years before this. So the Lord's just saying, remember what I can do for you. And don't be afraid. Okay.
Slaki, the Lord is always telling you to remember.
Yeah.
Remember what I did to
Yeah.
these people for you.
Look how quickly we forget.
Yeah. I say this all the time. That Moses went up for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
A golden calf was built.
That was what, like a few weeks after all the miracles in Egypt?
What we doing?
That's correct. So if they forgot that quickly, that's our people. So now here we are in the year 2026. Yeah, we got to remind y'all some things. But now the Lord ain't, now you really got to remember. Now you really got to remember.
Come.
Yeah.
Verse 19. The great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders and the mighty hand and the stretched out arm, whereby the Lord thy God brought thee out, so shall the Lord thy God do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid.
That's it. Lord said, remember what you just saw happen in Egypt? I can do that to any of these people. I can do that to the Canaanites, the Jebusites, the Hivites.
Right.
I can do that to all these people.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 20. Moreover, the Lord thy God will send the hornet among them until thou art left and hid themselves from thee, be destroyed. Thou shalt not be afraid at them, for the Lord thy God is among you, and Salaki, a mighty God and terrible. Verse 22. Yeah, 24.
23.
Okay, come. And the Lord thy God will put out these nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beast of the field increase upon thee. Verse 23. But the Lord thy God shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed.
Look at that. The Lord is even thinking strategically for us. It says the Lord thy God will put them out little and little. Because if we consume them at once, then we wouldn't even be able to go in and take the city. The wolves and whatnot will just come and pull up on us. This is all strategic so that
tactical.
The Lord can move them up out of that land and us into that land. Go ahead. Or no, that's back to the Hebrew. Yeah. From verse 24, when the sun, Malakim, Bayadka, Wabadath, Ath Shemum, Makat, Hashmayim, La'ah, Yatzab, Ayash, Bapunika, Id, Hashmadka, Athum, Pasialia, Alahayim, Dashrapwan, Ba'ash La'ah, Tachmad, Kasap, Wazahab, Alium, Wakath, Waka, Punt, Awakwash, Bawa, Kaya, Dawaibath, Yahweh Alahayaka, Hawa'ah, 26, Wala'ah, Tabiyah, Dawaiba, Ath, Al-Bayathka, Wayath, Haram, Kamawa, Shquatza, Dashquatzan, Zanwa, Wata'ab, Thatha'abnwa, Kaya, Haram, Hawa'ah, chapter 8 and verse 1. Call Hamatazwa, Shar Nakya, Hazawaka, Hayawum, Hashmarwan, Laishwat, Lamain, Lachayanwan, Warbayathum, Wabathum, Wayrashtum, Atharatza, Ashar, Nashabai, Yahweh Labathkim, verse 2, Ozkarath, Athkal, Hadarak, Ashar, Halikath, Yahweh al-Hayaka, Za Arbayim, Shana, Mamadabar, Mama'ain, Ainathka, Nasathka, Badaith, Athashar, Balabka, Hatashamar, Nazawathiwa, Amla'ah, verse 3, Wayainka, Wayraka, Wayakolka, Athaman, Ashar La'ah, Yadaith Wala'ah, Yadaywan, Abathka, Lama'ain, Awadaika, Kaya, La'ah, Al Halahum, Labadwa Lahaya, Hadam Kaya, Al Kal, Mawatzah, Kaya Yahweh, Yahaya Hadam, and verse 4, Shalathka, La'ah, Balatha, Ma'alika, Wargalka, La'ah, Batazakwa, Zarabayim, Shana, and back to the English.
Come, God. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 24. And he shall deliver their kings into thy hand, and thou shalt destroy their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee until thou have destroyed them. Verse 25. The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein. For it is an abomination to the Lord thy God.
You know why? Because the silver and gold that's on them is going to have their symbols, their things like that, their little idols on them. So you're going to see a gold chain, and it might have, you know, something funny dangling off the end of it. You're going to see, yo, that look cool.
Right.
Yo, that
Right.
look hard.
A little
That
Jesus
chain.
piece.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
a little Jesus
exactly,
piece, right?
exactly. That silver Jesus piece look hard. I want
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
No, you're not going to want it. You're going to burn it all fire. You're going to melt it down and then do whatever you do. The Lord is going to deliver all of that right into your hand. And then it's your job to deal with it accordingly, to deal with it properly. Keep going.
Come. Verse 26. Now shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing.
So that's really still talking about that same thing, because there's going to be little idols and all types of little trinkets. Your job is not to say, oh, that look cool, let me get that. So it's the same thing today. When you walk, when you go into some other neighborhood, or even, you know, like a neutral neighborhood, and they have, like, you know, a market or something, and you might see little trinkets and things, you got to recognize that some of those things are you know, idol or pagan symbols. You can't just buy any old thing just because it looks cool and bring it into your house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which the Lord swore unto your fathers. Verse 2.
Okay.
Come. Verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or not. Verse 3. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with mammon, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doeth not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Lord doeth man live. Verse 4.
And that's it. Everything that happened, everything that we went through was for a reason. Yeah.
Come. Verse 4. Thy raiment wax not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years.
Damn. The Lord's saying, I had you walking 40 years through the desert. Your feet didn't even swell up from all that walking because I was taking care of you that whole time.
Carried us.
Man,
Carry this, man.
man.
That's love. Ain't that love?
I know we be having we in New York. We be having long days out here. You get home, you take off your shoes, and you just be like, ah.
Man.
Can you imagine walking through the desert for 40 years?
40 years
And the Lord's
crazy.
saying, your feet didn't even swell up. Because I had you this whole time. And you better not forget it. Keep going. The last one. Come.
Verse 5. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chastiseth his son, so the Lord thy God chastiseth thee.
That's it. The Most High is a father. And these are rules because you living in his house.
Right.
From the cradle to the grave, you living in the Most High's house.
That part.
And these are his rules. And it's for your own good. It's because he knows better than you. And if he punishes you, it's out of love. Like the scripture says, a father chasing who he loves. You're not worried about punishing the kid down the street. You're worried about what your kid is out there doing. Back to the Hebrew. Verse 5. Waydai, I'm Babka Kayak Ashar, Yasar, Ayash, Asbanwa, Yahweh Alahayaka, Maisarka, verse 6. Ashmarath, Asm Tazwath, Yahweh Alahayaka, Walakath, Barakua, Wayara, Athwa, verse 7. Kaya, Yahweh Alahayaka, Mabiaka, Atharatza, Tobath, Aratza, Nakalia, Mayum, Ayana, Wathalmath, Yatazayum, Wabakwaya, Wabahar, verse 8. Aratza, Hata, Waishira, Wagapun, Wathana, Wamarwan, Aratza, Zath Shamun, Wadabash. It's 9. Ratzah, Shar, La'ah, Knath, the Kal, Ba, Lachum, La'ah, the Chasar, Kal, Ba, Ratzah, Shar, Bunya, Barzal, Umahariya, Lachatzab, Nachashaf, verse 10. Wakalath, Washabaith, Wabarakath, Salaki, Wabarakath, Ath Yahweh Alahayaka, Al Harat, Atabath, Star, Nathunlaka, verse 11. Ashmarlaka, Pun, Dashaka, Ath Yahweh Alahayaka, Labalathia, Shamar, Matazwathia, Umashapatua, Wakakwathiwa, Ashar Nakia, Matazwathka, Hayawam. Back to the English.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, and verse 5. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chastiseth his son, so the Lord thy God chastiseth thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways and to fear him. Verse 7. For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water and fountations and depths that spring out of valleys and hills. Verse 8. A land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates and lands of oil, olive, and honey.
The Lord chose the most fertile, beautiful, healthy land on the planet to give to us. And y'all got to remember that when you read this, that the land that the Lord gave to us is not limited to this little strip that they call Israel today. That little strip that they call the state of Israel is a fraction of the land that's here in these scriptures. That's, yeah, go ahead.
He ain't bring you into no wasteland. You know what I'm saying? You established. You just brooks of water, of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills, land of wheat, bread, rice, you know what I'm saying? Fig trees, pomegranates, olive oil, and honey.
The most fertile land on the planet. And that's another thing that's wrong with y'all goofy people out there. that's trying to, gather our people and move them to some random place in Africa or wherever you can just get a plot of land. The Lord didn't send us to just wherever you get a plot. That's where we're at right now. Just any old place. We got sewage flowing through the streets, radioactive rivers.
Nah, it's just a water bug.
Nah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lie.
You get bit by something out there, you might turn into Spider-Man. We're in hell. This is the place that we're in right now. We're in hell. You can't just sit down on any old. We're trying to get out of any old random piece of land.
Right.
Keep going.
Come. A land with it's a lie. Verse 10. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which he had given thee. Verse 11. Beware that get not the Lord thy God in not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command thee this day. Verse 12.
Shit, the Lord gave us land and everything, and our one job was to not just go in there and just wild out and forget about him and just say, well, I ain't got to do this thing and that thing. What's going to happen if I don't do this, that, and the third? I will be fine. Nah, no, we're not fine.
Oh, it's coming.
Fast forward a few minutes later, here we are. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full and hast built goodly houses and dwelleth therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that is multiplied, then thy heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee from out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage.
And that's a good place to stop, because just remember, Egypt is symbolic with bondage. So that's why the scriptures say in so many different ways that we just in modern day Egypt today. We had it. We chose to go our own way. We right back where we started. So now the solution is to actually listen this time.
Right.
I imagine him up here. Which means horn. La Yasha'Allah, which means to Israel. Shapar. Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, Sar will Punya Hakadum, which means stand, turn and face the east. It's going to be the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratza, Hawa, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathunno, Lachum, Kalu, Wasalakina, Kastalakno, Kawakino, Wala'ah, Tabayano, Banasaya 1, Abba, Haushano, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wathapara, Lawalumya, Aman.
In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, the kingdom, Salaka. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us not. Our debts. As we forgive our debtors. Read that part. Salaki. And forgive us. Salaki. Salaki. Our daily bread.
daily bread.
And forgive us our debts,
And forgive us our
as we
debts.
forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
It's not into temptation.
but deliver us
But deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is thy kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom.
and the power,
And the power.
and the glory,
And the glory.
forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it. Song face the front. That concludes the Sabbath service. We're going to pick it up where we left off next week at Deuteronomy 8 and 15. We'll give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I Majim Shabbat. I Majim Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Yajim Song face the sisters. I want to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I Majim Shabbat. I Majim Barak. Yahweh Yajim Smith. Do I know how to? Come on.
Sure.
Come
You
on.
gotta see out first, right?
Shouldn't have to. Let me see. See that?
I see.